Okay, so let's gonna start adding code to our HTML pages. Okay, so let's gonna create a new HTML page, something simple. File, new, remember change to HTML, right? HTML, right? Title, type window alert. You're gonna enjoy that. Okay, what else? The body, right? Okay, body. Inside the body, we're gonna create a form. Okay, we know how to create a form now, right? Perfect. And it's gonna add a paragraph. And inside this paragraph, we're gonna type a label. Correct. First name. We're gonna add an input text box. Type text. ID is really important. Remember, we're gonna see now what is important. Txt name. Okay. Placeholder. Enter your name. Close that and close the paragraph. Okay, and this is gonna add another label. Last name, correct. More input. Type text. ID equal txt, for example. Last name. Placeholder. Enter last name. Correct. Okay. Now we need to close. Perfect. And now we're gonna add a button. Input type button. Okay, value, we're gonna type execute. Okay, something simple. Okay, and now let's gonna add the magic here. Let's gonna associate an event. Okay, an event on this button. So let's gonna link this button. So when the user click this button, we will execute something. So the event that we can add here is on click. There are many events. If you wanna learn more, you know, ISM 4243. Okay. Okay. So now, what happened here? When we click on this button, okay, what happened? We're gonna call a method, a function. For example, display message. Okay. So your job now is gonna be add the logic to the method display message. So when the user Just gonna save that. Window alert. .html documents. Save. Okay. Preview. Okay. So what happened here? When the user click on execute, let's gonna do something, right? Okay. Let's go. Okay, now where we are gonna add the logic. Okay, so after the body you can add the tag script, and we're gonna add the script, the method. Okay, in JavaScript we call function. Okay, function. What is the name of the function? Display message, right? Okay, and now what happened here? We need to, for example, display here. When you click execute, we want to display hello, your name, last name. Okay, so I need to know the data here and the data in the last name box, right? So our job is gonna be grab, for example, if the user type Omar Toledo and the user click on execute, we want to display a message, a pop-up saying welcome Omar Toledo. Okay, so our job is gonna, you know, when the user click and execute, on click, correct, in this button, we're gonna call which method? Function, display message. We're gonna be here. So inside this method we need to get the data here in one variable and get the data that is here in another variable, right? And then concatenation. You got the idea? Perfect. So now if I need to get the data here, I need a variable, right? Okay, let me show you how hard is define a variable in JavaScript. Var name. That's it. You don't need to specify if this is a string, integer, double, no. Just type var and that's it. Okay? Okay. Now, var1 is gonna be equal what? We need to get the first name, right? The first name, the data that is here, right, in this box, right? Okay, see the code. How can we identify this text box? This text box input text have an ID? Yes, it have an ID. Okay, remember the hierarchy that I showed you at the beginning: Windows, document, forms. Remember that? If not, go back to the first slide. So we can type here document, okay, and then inside the document I can get an element by ID. Get element by ID. Okay, now we need to specify which ID, what ID we're gonna get. What is the ID that we're gonna get here? TXT name, right? Okay. Okay, and now we have to get the value. Okay, again, let's gonna rewind. Okay, what happened here? This is a variable. Okay, name, you can call whatever you want. It could be help us to hold a string, integer, double, whatever. This is how we define variables in JavaScript. Okay, you don't have to be worried about the data that you want to hold here for now. Just type var, general way to declare a variable. Now we're gonna assign to the variable name whatever we have in document. Okay, and we're gonna get the element by ID. Okay, get element by ID, txt name. We are here seeing this input text box, okay, but we don't get the value yet. Our goal is first we are here, right? Okay, but we don't have the value yet. We just identify that this is the element that we want to use. This is the element that we want to get the value that is here. Which value is here? Omar, but could be Jonathan, for example, right? Could be any name, right? Correct? Amanda, for example, whatever. Correct? So the name that is here, correct, is here in this element, correct, that we know the ID, correct, is the value. Remember that we type before value, correct, and appear here, enter a name, correct. Okay, so now the value inside this input text box is Omar. The value in this one is Toledo. We're gonna get this value. Okay, so that we have to do is type value. All this line is gonna assign whatever is here, in this case Omar to which variable? Name. Okay, now what happens if you want to get the last name? Document that get element by ID. Which ID? txt last name, right? And then now we are seeing this input text box, but we need the value that is there, right? Perfect. Now the value that is there is Toledo, correct? Okay, now we have the data in our variables, like using the scanner, right? Similar like this, but we don't have a scanner, we have input text box. So the user enters the data there. Our job is get the data that is in our input text boxes. Okay, now that we have that, we want to display the message. Okay, so our job now is going to be use a method in JavaScript that is called alert. I guess the correct way to type that is window, because remember everything is on Windows, then documents, something like that. So window.alert. Okay, let's gonna test that. I'm gonna type hello, correct? Yes, to test. So in theory, what is gonna happen? Our HTML is gonna have the label, the inputs, and one button, right? One button now that is called execute. And when we click on this button, we're gonna call the method display message. The method is here, the function. We're gonna get the name, the last name that is here, last name, and we're gonna display for now just hello. So type Omar, hello. Okay, now what happened if you wanna display hello, the first name of the user? Concatenation, right? Do you know that? Type whatever you want here. Hello Omar. Nice. So paste if I want to display first name and last name plus last name, right? Okay. Hello, Omar Toledo. If I want one is white space there. What else? Concatenation. Right, you already know that. Omar Toledo. Hello, Omar Toledo. Nice, eh? Yeah, I know that. Okay. And now, what happened? Remember NetBeans that we had the output, correct? So if you want to know what happened internally in the variables, correct? You need something. You need something to see how Java is, you know, how HTML, JavaScript now, how our program is working. So we want to know if we are getting the correct name, the correct last name. So how can we see that, you know, internally? Okay, there is something that we can use to see internal what is happening internally in our program. It's called console.log. We want to see that now. Okay, so okay, what happened here? Let's gonna comment that, the same thing. Save that and you test your program. Omar Toledo, execute. Nothing happened, right? Because I didn't finish the code with the window alert, right? Okay, but what happens if you want to see if you are collecting, you are getting the name and the last name? Okay, you can type console.log parentheses name. Okay, semicolon. Save. Okay, now in your program you can go to your browser, you can go to more tools, developer tools, or just type, I guess, F11. Okay, let's not use here, more tools, developer tools, or use Control-Shift-L, I guess so. Let me try Control-Shift-L. Control-Shift-I. Control-Shift-I. Okay. So you don't want to use the option more tools and then developer tools in your web page. Only type at the same time Control-Shift-I, and you're going to see the console here. You see the console there? Okay. Remember what we put here? Console.log name. So we're going to display in our console what do we have in name. Type Omar, for example. Click here, console, execute. See that? Omar. If you want to know what do you have in last name, console.log last name. Save. Execute. Nothing, right? Omar. Execute. We have Omar here, but nothing here. You can add concatenation here as well, for example. Variable name, right? Variable last name. Right? Execute. Nothing, right? But if you type the data, see that? So console log is going to help you a lot, right? Also, it's going to help you. What happened is we forgot the semicolon. Nothing happened. But it's good practice. Use semicolon always. Okay. What happens if we have a typo by ID? Like that. Everything looks correct in your program. But what happened here? Oh, we have an error. Where? In the line 25. Okay, line 25 here. Okay, which error we have there? It said uncode type error, document get element by ID is not a function. Oh, what happened? It's not a function, but we use the same thing. Oh, typo. ID lowercase. Run your program again. Everything works perfectly. You see that how useful is the console log? It's gonna help you to detect errors as well. For sure, you're gonna get a lot of error. Okay, so I hope this video help you. Okay, how to use the console log and the window alert. Okay, let's gonna do another video when we're gonna do something fun with the the data that we have in our form. Okay, thank you.